Hi, I'm back again with another video to share. Continuing on with Wegmans Astor Place experience. I guess I would call it maybe a bit of a story time than an experience of it, but I think that's what I'm doing. I want to deny it, but I'm not going to admit it, but I want to deny it. But I'm going to proceed. So previously, I shared that I was going to start telling the moment I started working and training in Harrison Wegmans location. But then I had like another flashback, pop-up memory, one thing after another before I went through the training. So I keep having these flashback memories that I can recall, but I also wanted to bring up about the next Wegman employee. He's a young guy. I was about to bring up about when I was assigned to be trained and working in Wegmans Harrison location. I'm going to hold that off aside and then start instead with about the sudden memory I had. So this was the day, back again with the count. So this was the day I and 3 other Wegman employees were working on the counts on aisle 6. This is in the Brooklyn location. And it was myself, Q, and 2 others, which I'm going to refer to them as Am and Pre. I'm going to stop right there. Just their short names, pronunciation, Am and Pre. So they were included. They were also in aisle 6. Aisle 6 is like out of the rest of the other aisles, the most widest aisle you can ever walk in. Like you could probably have a party in that aisle. So anyway, so I'm doing the count and I'm trying to remember whether there were. The thing is that there's in the Wegmans Brooklyn location, it's this very high yellow step ladder. And the use of it is because there are back stocks on the very top shelves of the shelf in the aisles. So that's the use in case. So I'm trying to remember whether it was like 2 or 3 of those high step ladders. But I remember most definitely Q using the high step ladders because, she's petite. And I can remember that most definitely. I believe she too was using the high step ladder as well. And myself and I don't know about Am, but me, I wasn't using it. The strategy, what is it that Q want to do the count starting on the very top of the shelves, which is the back stock, and then work her way down on the count. Me, I was doing the opposite. And she was doing the same as Q. Am, I don't know. I want to add she's not petite, she's just short. The same for Am, she's just short as well. So 2 short girls, 1 really petite one. I gotta stop referring to them girls. They're women. They're grown women. But anyways, so so yeah. What I remember the moment, and this is where I felt I wish I haven't overreact, which made me feel I feel bad and ashamed. And yeah. So what happened was that, well, here's the part I felt ashamed about. Q, she told me she was about to go on her lunch break, and she requested that I hold on to the scanner for her while she's on a lunch break. So I respond to Q, okay, I will. She hands me the scanner. I placed it close enough where I can be able to see it and at the same time remember. Then while she was on her lunch break, Q, all of a sudden, like one of the Wegman um employee, the Brooklyn location one, she came. Either she, I'm trying to remember, was I distracted? But I knew it was there close by where I was doing the count in the bottom part. I'm trying to remember that she went and grabbed Q's scanner and passed it to Am without even asking. She didn't ask nobody. Okay, I believe I was distracted assisting a customer. And by the time I was done, that's when all of a sudden this Wegman employee for Brooklyn, she suddenly goes towards where I was doing the count. I believe I was doing the count of the barbecue sauces and dressings. And she probably assumed that it was abandoned and nobody else was using it, so she just went and take and grab it and then pass it to Am without even asking. And I couldn't say anything. I didn't want to say anything, or maybe I did say something and it didn't matter to her. She just, and then I think I remember that she's like, okay, well, there's no other scanner, and I don't know. I just didn't want to start an argument over a scanner. So I was like, you know what, let me just move on. Just
Whatever.
thinking about it, I remember why this employee took Q's scanner. Um, what happened was that what she was doing was first um, taking the back stock above the shelves and filling up the shelf. That was her strategy. And after she was taking care of that, then she was ready to do her count. That's what she was, I believe to remember that's what she was doing. And that's what led for this Wegman employee to take it and take Q's scanner and pass it to Am. Did I say that it was being used and I was brushed off from it? Something like that. But I felt bad. By the time Q returned back from her break, I let her know what happened, and she was disappointed. Not disappointed as a upset, but disappointed. Like, I guess she had high hopes that she could trust to rely on me, that I can take control of what she wanted me to do for her. And I failed just thinking about it. And I think she sees me that I'm not, I guess she saw me that I'm not quite that well reliable, um, I guess, with favors for her, I guess. So, yes, that's the part I remember that moment. Now there's a moment that I was having with Pre, but not so much an open moment. Not like that. Now, this was on the very same day, working with Q and Pre and Am. So what happened was that, like I've mentioned before about the high step ladders, I think it was like 3 or 2 on aisle 6, and I was counting from the bottom and working on my way up. I also was using a stepping stool, a yellow box stepping stool, to sit down and stand as much as I can to reach to the top, to count the shelves. So I could see that Pre was going. Looks like she was going. Either I assumed that she was leaving or she's going on her lunch break. I think she was going on lunch break, and that she was done with her count. So now, like I had said before, my pain and struggle with the count by not counting a bit fast. And I'm counting the barbecue sauces and the dressings. The barbecue sauces was the worst. It was overshelved, and whoever did it overdid it. I couldn't count it. I couldn't follow the count. I couldn't, like, keep track where I was counting. I was getting a bit upset with myself, but also upset with the person, how much the person put too much of the repetitive items in the shelf. But anyway, I could see Pre was going to have some kind of break or just her break, and I assumed she was finished with the count as well. So I came up to her and asked her, was she finished with the step ladder? Because I was ready to start going to count the backstock items on the very top of the shelf. She said, yeah, okay, great. I took it as like she was officially done counting. And then when it was time for me to have my lunch break, I thought I was so sure the stepladder will still be there and not be used. But 30 minutes after I was done with my lunch break, I come back to aisle 6, and I perceived Pre was done. She was finished counting, and that she had no need for the stepladder. So, like I said, after I was done with my break, I come back to aisle 6, and I see she went back and takes the stepladder back and proceed to use it. I was disappointed. Like, wait a minute. My brain was telling me, didn't she just say she was finished with it? Now she's taking it back and gone back with it? And she was with Am at the time. Now, she was helping Am with something, or Pre was continuing on counting, whichever the case. There was a lot driving in my head. I felt disappointed and also deceived by Pre. And at the same time, I didn't want to start to feel like I want to argue the same way I didn't want to argue over about the scanner. So it's like these are petty, I guess they're just petty items that can be easily taken and such like that. So I think I looked through each aisle to find an available step ladder that I can use and feel relieved and not feel like I have to hold a grudge. So anyway, the count, I was kind of able to finish the count, kind of, even though, again, my pain, struggle. It was time for me to clock out. So yes, my time was up, and I found at the time TL1 was there. He was present, and he was working really hard. He was really busy. And here's the trip up part. It took me a while to know his name. I think that's his fault. He didn't have on a name tag on. He didn't have on a name tag at all when I first met him. That's so wrong. And I think it took me a while to acknowledge his name to know it. But again, the damn folder that was given to us at the orientation, should have read it. But anyway, so I think what happened was that either I forgot to punch in, or I was struggling to punch in, or I went further back. When it was time for me to leave, I went over the time limit. And when I tried to punch out, the machine wouldn't accept it to let me punch out. So I found TL1, and I asked him, and I told him what happened. So he and I went to the treasury room, I think, the treasury office, for me to sign in, to sign out, and for him to approve the sign out the time for me to punch out. Meanwhile, I talked to him and explained to him what I experienced. I did not tell him exactly what I went through from Pre. I think I told him like in codes like explain to him like what happened if, say, you were using something. I was telling TL1, like, say for instance, hypothetically, someone was using something, and when you saw the person and you asked the person, were they done, like those, I think I told them like using the step ladders. I said to them, when you're done with it or you're finished with it, it would, I would assume that the person who was using before don't need it anymore. But then after you turn your back and walk away, say like from your lunch break, and you come back from your lunch break and you see that very same person return back using the step ladder, like how do you handle that? Well, and like I have said about TL1, TL1 is a very understanding person, or I'm maybe go down pretty, but I would consider very understanding person. Like I said, he's reasonable. He's able to see things clearer, mostly than anyone else, including myself. He's able to see things clear, and his attention span, like I said before, is pretty high. So he helped me understand and explain, like, well, there, here in Wegmans Brooklyn location, there are short in supply. So when he said that, now I see things clearer and I understand. So it helped me calm down and not feel like I'm taken advantage and walked over and such. So it helped him if I felt better when he said that, and I was able, to feel relieved. Yep, thanks to TL1. So I was supposed to bring up about the training part, but it hasn't come up with it yet. So I'm going to, maybe next time or maybe later. I'm just going by like what I would say my flashback memory is finally kind of in a way popping up as best way I can remember. And I'm just doing it in possible correct order. So until I come again next time, stay beautiful.